Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, notice when we start to align with the spirituality, we start to refine our lives, isn't it? By letting go of the things that are not serving us to be free, or letting go of the things that is fluctuating the sense of ease in us. So, we're doing that. But no matter how much we let go, we are still not free, isn't it? The fear is still there. The conflict is still there. Mental struggle is still there. Why? Because letting go of the material stuff, you can test your ego, but it's not freedom. Why? Because the true freedom is about letting go of the mind. And until we can let go the mind, there's no freedom. Whatever letting go happened in the past, thinking it's the way to be free, it's just an illusion. The ego self was doing the cleansing work. And ego only loves to cleanse to a certain extent in a superficial way. Ego only can let go what is not serving. Ego doesn't like to go beyond that, because beyond that is about dissolving the ego. Dissolving the ego means dissolving the mind, and that's where the spirituality fails. So, we have tried to let go of the material stuff, and we have forgotten the main reference, the purpose of the spiritual practice, which is about letting go of the mind. And being part of the spirituality, we have become the spiritual hoarder, isn't it? Notice there are tons of practices present in the world in the name of spirituality, and it's practice associated with philosophy, just to give meaning to those practices. And you who are hunger for spirituality, hungry for freedom, is associated with everything, every practices, every philosophy present in the world. And you're trying to go through it. And every single practice is failing to give you the freedom. So you jump onto next. And you go through that. You fail. Then you jump onto next. And then you go through next. And the result is the failure to be free, isn't it? And when you go through certain experience in certain practices, every practice leaves the residue as an idea, or belief, or preference, or meaning. Leaves the meaning in your mind. And definitely, all sorts of practices is helpful to some extent. And you start to see the good in all practices. And you can also see that all practices are preparing you to get to the truth. Logically, you can think that way, but also another logic or related truth is that you are conditioning yourself by going through all those practices, isn't it? So, gathering information, going through the experience and inviting the conditioning is what? Isn't that a spiritual hoarding? Spiritual hoarding is contradicting your spiritual desire to be free. Not just you going through the spiritual practices that are present in the world, you are also, invested fully in philosophy and new age information. Which is seen as a spiritual freedom. And everything you go through, whether practice or reading stuff, is leaving you ideas. Definitely, when we are aligned in spirituality, it's good to explore. But we shouldn't be imprisoning ourselves by going through those experiences. By the way, we are already conditioned to all that. So, I hope you see the contradiction. The spiritual practice is about letting go of the mind, just not letting go of the material stuff. Letting go of the material stuff is the start to see the ego, to test your ego self. By the way, when the truth is missing, when you don't have the truth, you are already in line with the ego self. Basically, when the truth is missing, the ego self is in charge of life, in charge of everything. And to see whether it's true or not, we have to, dismantle the mind. The spiritual reference is about letting go of the mind. Why? Because the mind is the only one thing that is creating a trouble, isn't it? Creating lots of fear, stress. Everything we have gone through in our lives always leaves a residue as an idea. And the idea is in us. And that idea somehow plays the role of the reality as something true. And we are conditioned to that, and we are moving with that. The example here is, notice, especially when you have gone through the heavy struggle in your life. Notice how that struggle have left an idea in your head, and how that idea is true, and how you are moving with that idea to avoid that similar experience to come in the future. So, basically when that is happening, we're not in the now, isn't it? We're not trusting. We are conditioned to our past. We are conditioned to the past because of the fear. For example, if you are a cancer patient and you have overcome the cancer, you are cancer free now. Now, are you really free from your mind that there's no fear in your life? You're not afraid of the cancer anymore? Or there is a lingering idea in you that the cancer may come back again? We are always left with a trauma, isn't it? Especially when the incident is heavy. When the incident was struggle, pain, suffering, that leaves the idea as a trauma, as anxiety, even depression. Basically, trauma, depression, anxiety is the fear, isn't it? If you really investigate what you feel, the emotion is basically fear of something. The lingering fluctuation is always there. If you have gone through that experience, and if you see that what I'm saying is not true, let me know. You can comment on this video. But the reality is, the fact is that every situation leaves the idea, and somehow the idea fluctuates our life. The idea creates the mental stress. You're definitely free from the cancer in the bodily sense. You're cancer free in the body. But that cancer experience has left the cancer in the mind. The mental cancer is still there. Now I'm just talking about one scenario, right? There could be many scenarios, different scenarios people have gone through. Now you put yourself in that situation, remind yourself, and are you free? Especially when we are talking about, it brings you back to that past. And when you are back into that past, notice how you start to sweat, agitate, it starts to fluctuate. When you fluctuate, notice how you act on it. And probably you remember all the sort of spiritual mumbo jumbo to calm yourself from that distraction. Try to calm yourself from that fluctuation by doing spiritual ritual stuff. Notice how much effort you have to put just to forget those trauma from the past. You can only forget your trauma when you are having fun, isn't it? When we are going through fun in life, fun makes us forget. Finding something in life and making your life better makes you forget, isn't it? When you're focused on something that you like, makes you forget your past. But here's the example. If you lose the fun in your life, whatever path you are chosen, if that is not anymore in your life, what's the scenario like in the moment? You're back in the negativity, back with the past, back with further mental stress from losing something that you were loving. So, struggle is back again. The mental struggle is back again. You're scared of being nobody. You're scared of losing your identification, losing your support. So, how do we get out of this mental drama? How do we dissolve the trauma? How do we dissolve the depression? How do we dissolve the anxiety? How do we dissolve the fear from our lives in a way that we can live without the past? How do we live our lives without getting affected by the past? That's the question. How? You can never dissolve your past, by the way. You can understand your past. Even post-enlightenment, your past is still there. The only difference is you won't be affected by your past. You just see it, okay. And you won't even create the mental story on that. Because you know who you are. That's post-enlightenment. But you're not there yet. How to enlighten oneself, how to see the truth of who we are, so we don't have to get affected by the past trauma, is by being part of self-inquiry. The trauma is within. Even the trauma has come from the outside, left that experience, and experience left that idea, ingrained idea in us. It's still within. So how do we do the work? So when your trauma fluctuates you, when the trauma comes back on the surface of the mind, you're fluctuated by it. Whatever you're feeling, right? Ask yourself, why am I feeling? Whatever you're feeling, why this trauma is bothering me? It's already gone, but it still bothers me. Why? Because you answered why. Ultimately, it comes down to fear. And you have to dismantle fear. Why am I afraid? Now that's the question. When you do the self-inquiry, it comes down to fear. Now figure out, why am I afraid? Because there could be fear of so many things depending on your scenario. Now, but after seeing the fear of something, why are you afraid of the fear? Fear of what? And ask why again. Whatever fear is there, ask why. Why do I have this fear? And that's the way to dismantle the fear. And when you dismantle the fear all the way until you see no mind, then another inquiry you got to bring is asking yourself, who am I? And that's where it will click. But we're not there. Right now, what's happening right now is the past experience is conditioning our life. And we are moving with that conditioning in the now, in this right moment. and we have a hard time letting go of the trauma. Why am I having a hard time to let go of the trauma? You are already attached to that. So why are you having a hard time with that trauma? Ask. Ask, and you will see the deeper reason behind your attachment. You will see the deeper reason behind hard time of letting go of your struggle. Hard time letting go of your fear. And fun as well. The journey, spiritual journey, is going beyond the fun and the fear, so we can see the plain sight truth. And seeing the plain sight truth within is the true freedom. So, we diverted to further, right? The start of the video, I want to point out that we align with the spiritual practice and we start to let go of this stuff, we start to refine. And I'm reminding you that no matter how much you have let go of stuff from your life, it's not helping you to be free from your trauma, free from your fear. To be free, simply to be in peace. It's not helping you. And we have become the spiritual hoarder. We are letting go of the outside stuff, material stuff, but we are hoarding the mental stuff. Thinking collecting the credential is the way to finally get to the truth. And that simple act that we are doing is turning our face away from the truth. Truth is, one way, and truth is straightforward, but we are turning our face and moving away from the truth. Why? Because the freedom is about dissolving the mind, taking out the layers from the mind. And what we are doing is keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. And that's the reason we are failing to see the plain sight truth. It's simple. Simple. That's the ultimate reason that you're failing in your spiritual practice. And by hearing this, you don't even see you don't even hear it, because you're hearing it and it goes to another your ear, and there's no time to pause and reflect, and also doing the inquiry part, whether what I'm hearing is really true or not. This video is just like it's just a grain of sand. It's just passing through. And for some of you, not. You'll pause and reflect, and you'll do the work. And some of you are definitely doing the work, because I see the comments. And what I want to say here is keep going, don't stop. Stopping is the failure to stay in the same realm called suffering, and not stopping and being thorough and aware is the way to be free. Okay. Anyway, I hope this video makes sense to some extent. Please subscribe to this channel and support me. Thanks for watching this video. Take care for now. See you in the next video. Bye.